for our gifts and our offerings. And even though we're not physically together, um, we still, the work of Unity of Payson still goes on. And so on the slide, let's see, that is coming up. You will see different ways that you can give. You can write a check and send it to our P.O. box there on the screen. Or you can go to unityofpayson.org and go to the donate button. And so hold your heart's desire, your intention for that release in your heart right now. And let's say our affirmation. Freely we give and freely we receive. And during our offertory song, which is by Cinnamon Twist, What a Wonderful World, you have time to either go to one of those, to donate in one of those ways. And so, what a wonderful world.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
And what a wonderful world it is. And so we're grateful for these gifts and for the givers as they go out and do their work in the world. And so let's say our dedication together. Divine love through us blesses and multiplies all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. We are abundantly prosperous and we give thanks. And before I move on to our next slide, I just wanted to acknowledge that I had missed a gratitude that was in the chat box from Rick Hinkey, that his uncle had passed away this morning, and that he was grateful for the life that he had given, that he was given to live. And Rick, if you wanted to say something before we move on to announcements.
Well, I appreciate everybody's thoughts. He was a pretty amazing guy. We probably were at opposite ends of the political spectrum, and he was a very fundamentalist Christian, but we loved each other regardless. And his example, I mean, he literally built he and his wife, my Aunt Lil, actually built a habitat house with their own money and their own labor unto themselves. So he did, in fact, exhibit Christian principles throughout his life and was a great influence on all of us. Thank you, Betty.
Thanks, Rick. Sorry that I missed that in the chat. So, as we move on, in January, we have a new theme, and it is faith. My faith assures me that every event in my life has meaning and brings gifts. And on to our other announcements. Our speaker next Sunday will be Reverend Neil, and the White Stone ceremony will also be next Sunday. So let's go on to the rest of the announcements. Morning coffee, as usual, at 9:30, weekday mornings. The Intenders Circle on Thursday, the 7th at noon. And again, like I stated, the White Stone ceremony will be next Sunday as part of our service. And next, the book circles will be beginning on Anne Marie's wonderful book, Hurrah for Humans, Mondays, January 11th, 18th, and 25th, from noon until 1:30, facilitated by Teresa. And you can still get the book from Anne Marie, and her phone number is 928-978-0089, so that you can get caught up on the reading. And important one, a little bit for the future, our annual meeting is January the 31st at 2 o'clock, and it will be on Zoom. And it is especially important, well, for all members to attend to see what is going on, but for the voting members, because we will be voting not only the new budget, but also all the new board members. So be sure and put that on your agenda for 2 o'clock, Sunday, January 31st. And our discussion groups are still reformulating for the next year. And so, Reverend Neil, to move on to our burning bowl ceremony.
Thank you. Burning bowl ceremony is a time at the end of the year to release that which no longer serves you. We're doing it in a new way, virtually. So to make that experience as much as possible, opt for the speaker view, and you'll be able to participate energetically, perhaps in a greater way. On our New Year's Eve service, we lit the powers, the 12 powers, the candles for the 12 powers. One of those candles was the candle of release. That's one of the abilities that we as divine creations are able to appropriate and use in our lives. So I'd like to light that candle, which is brown in color at this time. And you can see that here in front of me. Burning bowl ceremony is a time of quiet. So bring yourself to that time. Bring yourself to a place of presence, being here and nowhere else right now. And breathe in, as Betty Bennett hinted, the freedom, the scent of freedom that release allows. You may remember how we did it a year ago or in years past. We had a candle in a bowl at the front of the auditorium, at the front of the church. And after writing our items of release on a paper, we brought that paper last year, a flash paper, dipped that into the flame of the candle, and it was gone. This time, it'll be slightly differently, but first of all, as we did before, allow to come into your mind, not so much a rational process, but just allow to come into your mind that which is yours to release. I ask you to have a pen, paper and pencil handy. So we're going to bring that to, because we're going to be writing those things on a sheet of paper. And then we let them go symbolically. And there are other ways, in addition to the flame. You might dissolve that paper in water or bury it in the earth, or perhaps even shred it. So letting go. What is it that we're letting go as you consider that's yours to release? Resentments, for sure. Resistance and our inability to surrender. Beliefs that are outmoded, don't work for us anymore. Old patterns that don't get us what we truly desire. And perhaps even people, places, and things. Of each of these, there may be something for you to let go. So what is it that is truly yours? I'd like us to just take a time of quiet, bring that paper and that pen or pencil in front of you. As the knowledge of what it is that's yours to release. Write that thing or those things on that paper. Just spend this time in quiet for a few minutes, letting those things to release surface, and then writing them on that paper. When you've done that, take and fold that paper so you no longer see those things that you are releasing. They're no longer going to be a part of your life. And then, because we aren't all gathering around one flame, symbolically let my action here be yours as well. So we release by allowing that which doesn't serve us to be made nothing. You may need to stay in this place briefly by looking straight into the face of what we do not want. We experience what we call in unity denial. Denial may precede that affirmation. So for this period of time, and we'll carry over into next week as we have our white stone ceremony. If you, first of all, just breathe as you've released these things, breathe a sigh, perhaps of relief, perhaps of new life, new expectancy. New year is about to begin. A new name is ready to be yours. A new course is about to commence. Yes, grieve if you need to that which you have released, but experience the freedom of letting it go, letting it go, letting it go. Now that paper that you folded, determine how you will dispose of that. Will you bury it or burn it? Will you truly let that go? And this symbolic act will help you as you proceed on your spiritual journey with newness as we approach the new year. We'll end our service now, as we usually do. And Terry, if you can bring the slides back up, we will sing the peace song together, and then the prayer of protection.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be, with God as Creator, family are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous thought. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Now the prayer of
The
protection.
light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.